And I remember things humming, bro. I remember restaurants opening and hotels opening and people traveling, and it just seemed like boarded up communities after boarded up communities.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and then Colorado's going through a tough time. But we'll be hanging out with the good people of Durango today, then heading back.
Excellent. You have to share stories about what they're like, what the story was like, and things like that. That'd be great.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a lot to talk about today. We'll get into the national championship football game, but Tina Peters apparently assaulted in prison, and we got the video.
Yeah.
If you go to my X.com account, x.com/Jeff Hunt, you can watch the video, and I want to get people's perspective on this. Is it assault? Is it just a little scuffle? It looks like little toddlers pushing each other.
Yeah.
Or is this something bigger and we got to get Tina out immediately? So go take a look at the video, then join the conversation. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment. Good Tuesday morning, 24 and clear in Denver as you listen to Jeff and Billy this morning. Expecting a high of 52 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, DJT heading to Switzerland today for the World Economic Forum in Davos with the dispute over Greenland looming large.
Asked by reporters last night about how he plans to handle in-person pushback from European allies, Trump said he's not anticipating any major problems.
Well, I don't think they're going to push back too much. Look, we have to have it. They have to have this done.
Trump has threatened tariffs on allies that oppose his Greenland plans, and the EU is considering retaliatory tariffs. The issue may distract from security agreements for Ukraine, originally thought to be Trump's main contribution at Davos this year. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
The EU, NATO, Greenland, WEF, Davos. This is a big day for DJT as Barbara Boyd, Promethean Action, has studied for decades. The oligarchs have controlled power for far too long, and DJT is trying to change that for the good of the American people.
So the media is right in saying that Donald Trump has killed the old order. The era of the Davos Consensus is over. For 50 years, the world's future was decided behind closed doors by this self-appointed elite. Today, that door has been kicked down and opened. The Great Reset has met the Great Disruptor. The old order is pleading for its life, while a new order of builders, producers, and sovereign peace is being born in real time.
All right, stay tuned. Speaking of kicking the door down, national championship game, undefeated Indiana leading 17-14 in the fourth. 4th and 5 from the 13. They have to get the first down because Miami was about to come back on the Indiana Hoosiers. They go for it. Instead of kicking a field goal, gutsy, and the Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza, takes the snap.
He's going to take off and run. Mendoza wins his way first and goal. Diving toward the end zone. Touchdown! That's why he won the Heisman Trophy.
That was the greatest play made by a Heisman Trophy winner ever, in my opinion.
That was
unbelievable.
That was the moment.
He ran over a middle linebacker after he made a great move, spins, and then dives into the end zone. Absolutely incredible. I mean,
what'd you think of that game, Blake?
Disney movie. We've been watching a Disney movie. I've been watching a Disney movie with this team for 2 years when Kurt Signetti took over that program. Absolutely. This is the worst, Jeff. This is the worst college football program in major college football.
Yeah.
The past 100 years, basically.
You know what? It was like watching a prize fight where they
was.
just got it perfect. Like one team strikes, then the other team strikes back, and then the first team strikes again, and then the other team strikes back, and it was just like, bro, this thing was going down to the final seconds. It was awesome. Loved every second of it.
It was. I mean, you could not write a script better than that one. Absolutely incredible. Here's let's see, who do we got? Signetti, or we got Mendoza, I think. Let's see.
I took the drop, and it wasn't the perfect coverage for it, but I trust my linemen, and everybody in that entire offense and entire team had a gritty performance today, and we're all putting our bodies on the line. So it's the least I could do for my brothers.
And the guy is, he's impossible not to like. 16-0. That hasn't happened since Yale in the early 1900s. 16-0, undefeated, back in Miami where he grew up. Just an incredible story. That is what college football is all about, even though these guys are making millions of dollars, some of them. But, man, that was
It was cool
a great script.
at the end, too, when Fernando was talking about God, and just he like broke up. Did you see that during that interview?
Yeah,
like this guy's so humble.
He's a believer,
and just so connected to his faith, and it was very cool. It's just they're good kids.
And you could see, I mean, that team is so likable. Also, the personalities on that team. I mean, he just rubs off on all of them, and so does Signetti, the coach. What I love about Signetti is he had a cush job at the University of Alabama, an assistant. I think when he turned 50 or something like this, like over a decade ago, just a little bit over a decade ago, and he's like, I want to be a head coach. And he goes to Indiana University, Pennsylvania, which is a Division II power. They were a long time ago. So they're down on their luck, and he becomes the head coach. And this is a small Division II program in Pennsylvania. And he talked about it last night in the postgame, washing and waxing tables and thinking about what have I done? I mean, he had, he was with the University of Alabama, had the office, had everything. And he makes this move, and he turns that program around. He goes to Elon, one step up. He turns that program around, and then goes to James Madison, gets them back on the winning track, and then gets the job at Indiana 2 years ago. And they had an incredible season last year. And then they win it, the national championship this year. It's absolutely amazing. So hope you enjoyed it like I did. The DOJ has launched a criminal investigation after paid protesters invaded a service at Minnesota church. We talked about that on Monday. DOJ Assistant AG Harmeet Dillon posted on X that the protesters, the commies, will be investigated for civil rights violations, including desecrating a house of worship. An Indiana judge and his wife are recovering after someone shot them in their home on Sunday afternoon. Superior Court Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife Kimberly reportedly went to answer the door in their Lafayette home after someone knocked it and said that they had the couple's dog before opening fire. The shooter is still on the loose, and the FBI has joined the investigation. And as Jeff talked about Tina Peters, you can see this on Jeff's X account. Tina Peters moved to another housing unit after being involved in an incident Sunday at La Vista Correctional Facility. The former Mesa County clerk posted on X and says she was attacked in a closet by another inmate and was trying to defend herself. Corrections spokeswoman Alondra Gonzalez Garcia says Peters was moved to another housing unit while the investigation continues. Peters is serving, of course, 9 years for all that garbage. But you can check it out on Jeff's ex-accountant. Jeff and Billy are going to talk about that coming up. The Air Force Academy's men's basketball team will have an interim head coach for the foreseeable future as an investigation continues into the head coach, Joe Scott. The Academy announced Saturday that Scott will be suspended indefinitely as the school looks into his treatment of cadet athletes. Scott says he's fully cooperating with the investigation and will look to a proper resolution of the matter. Air Force's next game is tonight at CSU. The Avs beat the Caps last night 5-2. Lakers at the Nuggets tonight, 8 o'clock. Preparation and game planning continues at Broncos HQ as they get ready for the Patriots Sunday in the AFC Championship game at Mile High, without Bo Nix, of course. 24 in Aurora, 23 in Lakewood, 24 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy on a Tuesday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast. Morning skies will be clear, and temps will start off in the lower to mid-20s. Then with sunny skies, should get back to the mid-50s Tuesday afternoon. Westerly winds at 20 to 30 miles an hour. Lows Tuesday night in the mid-20s and partly cloudy. Middle and upper 40s Wednesday and Thursday. We'll keep it fair and mainly dry, with lows falling to the upper teens, low 20s. Cold front may bring some snow showers late Friday. Highs low 30s. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
All right, I want you to go to my X account. If you go to x.com/Jeff Hunt, x.com/Jeff Hunt, you'll see the video of Tina Peters being assaulted, allegedly. Here's what her team had put out the day before. And I want to, so listen to what we're going to read here with regards to her comments, and then watch the video. And I want you to give us a sense of what you think happened in this video, because it's only 1 minute, 18 seconds. Super short. Okay? This is what Tina Peters' team had put out. For immediate release, Tina Peters assaulted. Last night, Tina Peters was assaulted at approximately 9 p.m. Mountain Time in La Vista Correctional Facility. Tina was inside a maintenance closet to fill up a water unit when an inmate approached her in the closet and began striking her in anger. Tina raised her hand and pushed the inmate away. Per Tina, the camera showed her pushing the inmate away from her out of the closet. She was subsequently handcuffed, shackled, and brought to solitary. Tina was told she was being charged with felony assault for defending herself against an unprovoked attack. She'll be locked down completely for 24 to 72 hours and held in IDO, the hole, for an unknown period of time. As far as Tina is aware, the inmate who assaulted her has not been charged slept in their cell last night and will face no consequences. This incident is clearly a targeted attack against Peters. In all likelihood, it is being used as an opportunity to isolate and harass Tina Peters. Tina has been warning officials that something like this would happen eventually. She is advised to apply for incentive pod. Tina has applied repeatedly and been denied despite nothing disqualifying her. Something is not right at the correctional facility where she is housed. Tina has minor injuries, but is not seriously injured as of this morning. Can you imagine 70-year-old Tina Peters being charged another felony charge for defending herself? Please support Tina, support her legal defense at tinapeters.us, and continue to pray for her safety and swift release. All right. So, Bill, let's describe this video.
Yeah.
It's 1:18 seconds. It's a prison video. And Tina Peters enters on the left side.
Yeah.
She's
basically
pulling.
it's a camera that's in the corner of the room. So you're seeing it from the corner of the room. And the closet that she is headed towards is on the other side of the room on the right-hand side. And she's entering from a doorway on the far left-hand side. Okay, continue.
Exactly right. Tina is dressed in a yellow shirt and looks like maybe some shorts or a skirt that she's wearing. And she is, shorts. She's pulling this big unit and walking backwards. Near the corner is a mop bucket and some mops placed up against the edge there. And then a woman enters on the lower corner and walks towards Tina Peters. Tina does not appear to see her as she is facing the other direction. And at this point, she's up against a closet door. The woman that enters the scene slides by this big device. I think it's like a water. That's what they said in the.
I'm not sure. Yeah, but again, think of it as those big carts
a
that
water
you see.
Unit. Yeah.
The people that are cleaning the rooms at hotels are, using. If you would stack two of those on top of each other, that's about the size and the dimensions of basically what she's working with, more or less.
Yep, it's about her height.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So imagine pulling something that's about your height. It's big. It's big. So this woman walks past, seems to enter the other room. Tina opens the door and is now in a closet, apparently. Oh, this is a different woman.
Yeah,
so the first woman that walks in,
goes by. Yeah, because the first woman starts at the bottom of the frame. She walks out, and then through the doorway, and she's walking out again. Cameras in the back top left corner of the room is kind of your orientation. Where Tina is headed is diagonally across in the far right corner. Also, adjacent to that, but facing the other direction on the other wall, the back wall is another doorway. So there's a doorway, a couple of steps, and then the closet door. That's one entrance to that room. The other entrance is exactly opposite on the other wall from that closet door. So as you're sitting in the corner, the wall on your left has one door entrance. The wall at the back has one door entrance on the far right side in the corner, and your closet door is on that far right wall, again, back towards the corner. So the woman walks by Tina, and then another woman walks in through that far wall door and comes around the cart, and Tina is obscured by the door. Now continue.
Correct. You cannot see the initial assault. It's blocked by a door. But this second woman that has now entered is sticking her hand, her right hand, deep into the closet.
Yeah.
Now, you could say that she's trying to move this big device, or hitting Tina. That's what Tina claims happened. So at that point, Tina pushes the big water unit out of the way and goes for the woman in what seems to be a retaliation for something.
Yeah.
She then grabs the woman's neck and her hand. So her right hand is around the woman's neck. Her left hand is engaged with the other woman's hand. So her left hand is up against the woman's right hand. So if the woman was hitting her with that right hand, she would have grabbed it and been holding it the way she is right now. And they kind of stumble around into the middle. Tina then pushes her away and seems to turn and walk back towards the closet. At this point, there's now another person, and it looks like, okay, 2 more people into the room. So I'm guessing that there's some words being, there's a commotion enough to get people's attention. They're coming in to see what's going on. Tina then walks off somewhere to the left, and all the women separate and walk away. Yeah. So it's quick. It's quick. The whole thing is about a minute.
Yeah.
And if you want to see it, go to jeffhunt.com or x/jeffhunt, x.com/jeffhunt. And Bill, as of this morning, 32,000 views on my X account, 144 nice. Comments. And this is kind of similar to the shooting that took place in Minnesota. The comments are all over the place, from really? That's felony assault, ? To enough is enough. This poor, courageous woman, get her out of here. Others going a scuffle. That's kind of like 2 toddlers pushing each other. So, Bill, give me your read on that.
Yeah, it's not much of an altercation at all. And I have questions about the narrative that Tina's camp has put forward. Tina's camp has claimed that she was being charged with felony assault, and she was injured. Yet the Department of Corrections said neither woman was hurt. They were separated for their own safety. And Tina Peters is not in solitary confinement, as was claimed in the release from her camp. There's also nothing from Department of Corrections about a felony charge, and I can't find the felony charge. And I've gone through a number of different reporters that I all trust, and nothing mentioning a felony charge. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but given the video, I'm pretty sure it would be hard to make any sort of a felony charge stick, given the fact that the Department of Corrections said neither woman was injured. You'd have to get to an area and say, okay, the felony is then what if it's not felony assault? It would have to be something else because, again, Department of Corrections says neither woman was injured. So I've got some questions on Tina's camp saying that, 1, she was charged with felony assault. 2, she was placed into solitary. Both of those things don't appear to be backed up by Department of Corrections. And then the idea that this was a targeted attack. Her camp seems to be making a whole heck of a lot of assumptions and conclusions about exactly what went on, and I'm not seeing it in the video, and I'm not hearing it from the Department of Corrections. I would assume the Department of Corrections would say, well, because of the violent assault, we will charge them with a felony. But if neither woman is reportedly injured, felony for what? And again, in Tina's release, it says felony assault. Yet the Department of Corrections says neither woman's injured? Does it seem logical and likely Department of Corrections would try to charge Tina with felony assault after the Department of Corrections, say neither woman was injured? It seems like they would be undercutting their own case. So I got some questions about what the story that Tina's side's floating out there. But it doesn't look like assault. It looks like an altercation. It looks like things that I wish we would have those type of benign altercations in some of our middle school hall rooms right now. Yeah, it'd be much easier for a lot of people to deal with.
So a reminder, Tina said in her release she was told she is being charged with felony assault. So what that could be is that in the minutes after the scuffle takes place, maybe a warden or somebody in the prison said, you're going to be charged with felony assault for what you just did, Tina. And then they went back and watched the video and were like, oh, yeah, that's not going to fly. We're not going to be able to get a conviction on that. And so they backtrack. I don't know. But her original statement was that she was told she is being charged with felony assault. So keep that in mind. And also there could be a lot of emotions around this. So if you just watch the video regular speed, the second woman that enters with whom the assault takes place, if you just you can make the claim that she was just trying to move the water unit. She was just trying to move the water unit. She wasn't trying to assault. She was just trying to move the water unit. So if you don't do what we just did originally, which was a second-by-second analysis, pausing the video, if you just run it right through, it's very quick, right? But I have a big question. Why was this woman there? So the first woman walked by, and I don't know if she said anything to trigger, but the first woman walks by, enters this back room, and disappears. At that point, though, the second woman just quickly shows up and kind of walks with purpose, and then grabs the unit and sticks her hand back there. Now, I just got questions. I don't want to sound too much like Candace Owens here, Bill Thorpe, but I got questions.
About what?
My question is, was she notified? Because that second woman walks with purpose. I mean, that is not just kind of chilling, kind of just making her way through like everybody else. It's like 9 o'clock at night in a prison confinement area. Everybody else is just kind of moseying. This second woman is walking with purpose, okay? She goes right towards Tina is, and then you see her right hand disappear behind the door. And it's moving pretty quickly. At that point, Tina pushes the water unit away and grabs that woman's right hand. And that's where the scuffle really starts to take place. And Tina grabs the assaulters, I'm just going to use that to delineate who she is. Her right hand goes to Tina. So Tina's left hand grabs the right hand of the assaulter, and then Tina's right hand goes for the throat to create distance. So it appears that something targeted took place.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that the woman that was walking down the hall, the second person that appears, was targeting Tina, but we have no idea nor indication about this. And the release from Tina's camp is as if this is an institutional targeting, which is not borne out by anything or any information that we have. And as we know, there are all sorts of other things that happen inside a prison. Tina could have cut in front of the wrong person in line at the lunch counter. Tina could have said something wrong, stepped on someone's foot, looked at someone wrong, told someone else something else, and that is crossing the line inside of whatever the ecosystem is inside of the prison. And the reason that I say this is not a targeted attack by the institution is because if it was, they suck at it. I mean, we've all seen movies where it's like the warden's like, yeah, you're going to teach this guy a lesson, or you've got something else where we're going to get this guy. And this is the attack that is planned on Tina. Something that looks like a pushing match inside of a middle school hall room. I mean, come on. The woman Tina's not visible for a couple of seconds, and the woman has one hand forward, and there's nothing there. You're telling me that if she has, and again, if I'm doing a targeted attack against a 70-year-old woman, and I'm told to bring this woman down, and I've been notified that she's there at that door, why am I not using that big container that she's struggling with as a weapon? Why am I not going behind that thing and pinning her in there and then getting away from the camera and doing my business? Why? That's the one time in that room where you're not visible by camera. Why is that not the place that I take advantage of? If this is a planned attack and the institution is trying to get her, and I'm using air quotes purposefully, then you don't do it this way. This is some sort of a personal gripe that the person had against Tina, and she came to take it out because she saw an opportunistic time. That's all I see in that one. And that happens all the time in prison and happens all the time in our high schools and middle schools. Those types of altercations. There's nothing there. But the fact that Tina's camp sees institutional wrongdoing, and again, she might have been told that she's been charged with felony assault, or she could have been charged with felony assault. Bottom line is she's not being charged with felony assault, and they also claim she was locked down completely for 24 to 72 hours in solitary. The Department of Corrections says no, so they just separated them because that's standard procedure in these sorts of incidences.
I think it's tough, though, to make the argument that, well, because it wasn't as effective, it clearly wasn't planned. by the institution. I don't know. I'm not quite sure that holds water in my boat.
The thing for this is Occam's razor. The most likely explanation is probably true. And the most likely explanation that happens inside of prisons across this country each and every day is two inmates have some sort of an incident, have something between them that's a beef, and something happens, rather than the institution. Because what I hear in the idea that when we think that this was institutional targeting is that we have started with the conclusion and now we're working backwards. We've decided that the institution is out to get Tina, and now we see the proof. Rather than, well, if the institution was trying to get Tina, is this how they would go about it? Is this the way that you would do it? No, not in the least. Not in the least. Not at all.
Yeah, I just don't think you can make the argument that just because it wasn't as effective as it could have been with snipers and all that other stuff,
Why do you do it on camera?
then it clearly wasn't the institution that was involved.
Why would the
with
institution do it on camera? The institution knows where the cameras
are.
are.
Well, I think they tried. That woman, it seems like she tried to get into that closet door, and Tina fought back.
No,
maybe they weren't expecting that.
Here's the thing: is you push
Tina
the big
runs,
heavy thing. You push the big heavy thing into Tina.
She runs the yard.
I know.
Tina runs the yard right now.
You see the woman trying to move the big container out of the way. That's your biggest weapon to trap her away from the camera. You want to do your business outside of the camera? That's what you do. This is not, it's that type of stupidity in the idea of this execution of this is a targeted attack. That if this was, the intention was to assault her, one, you do it off camera so that you have plausible deniability. Two, you have something better than this type of a plan. None of this makes any sense as far as a targeted step. But again, Tina has to pretend that she's a martyr, and so the institution has to be out to get her so that she can raise more money. That's all this is.
Text message is very hot on this one.
And we've got the video running on the YouTube right now, too. Yeah.
One to avoid prison fights. Don't commit crimes. Brad from Parker. Joe from Golden. It's a big nothing, Jeff. Joan from Lakewood. Jeff, I'm worried that Trump's going to get election fraud info about the machines from Venezuela. Tina will be a key witness. Bill, this isn't a takedown attack. It's an excuse to move her. Ooh.
Like the Zane Maxwell? And again, we're running the video.
2033 calling Bill the fight doctor.
I'm just sitting here going, if you're going to do this as an institution, why do you have her assaulted if you're sending someone to do it on camera? Why do you do it on camera? You've got a closet where you can do whatever you need to in there with no cameras. And then you got plausible deniability.
Well, what do you mean? Like, there's cameras of them entering the closet, so if Tina was shanked in the closet, you'd know exactly who it was.
I know, but the idea is, the woman, you take the container, you push it into there, and then she can go at her. You do it off camera. You 110% do it off camera. You don't sit there and you don't have the assault on camera. It's exactly it. You don't do it. Just silly.
Terry in Texas, Tina Peters assaulted a police officer and then lied about it. Makes it hard to believe anything her or her people say in this case. But let's create another distraction around this useless lady. Terry in Texas, telling me that Tina runs the yard. Jeff, you're delusional. Joan from Lakewood, where's Tina now? That's a good question. 0773, targeted attack. Why? To charge her with felony charges.
But she isn't being charged with felony charges because the Department of Corrections said neither woman was injured. So you can't charge her with felony. Again, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. The person that texts her is starting with the conclusion that the Department of Corrections is trying to do X, and now we're working backwards. We're not looking at it going, neither woman was injured, so they can't charge her with a felony, so that conspiracy theory is not true. That's how this works.
Bill, even if this was just a personal dispute, you got to admit Tina responded pretty aggressively.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As well she should. Yeah, you get attacked like that personally? Yeah, absolutely. She should. Yes. Everything that she did was absolutely appropriate. She took control of the situation, and I was very impressed with, given her age and how we're hearing that she's so sick and so frail, she seemed to be more than capable based on her strength and ability in order to move that person out of the way. She seemed fully capable.
We should get T-shirts made. Tina runs the yard. There you go. All right. Well, go watch the video. Go to x.com/Jeff Hunt. Go watch the video. This is Tina Peters in a prison scuffle Peter's saying she was assaulted first. Is that what happened? Do you think this was a targeted attack? Was it just a personal dispute between her and this lady? Or is this an institutional setup? An effort to keep Tina quiet? Join the conversation. Here's the phone line, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115, 720-819-5115. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710, KNUS.
Billy, the text messages are so hot this morning on this. We are talking Tina Peters. She was in a prison scuffle and put out word that she had been assaulted and that she had been moved to isolation and that she was told she was being charged with the assault. Well, videos released do show a scuffle, but it's minor in nature, which is nice. I mean, there's no blood, no real fists thrown. Tina goes into a closet. She's pulling this big water unit. Somebody kind of randomly appears with intent. And as Tina is in the closet, they stick their right hand by a door. And we don't know what they do with this right hand. It's obscured by the door itself. And we're playing it on the videos as well, so you can see it right there. Good job, producers. Mark Crowley and John Corbliss putting it up there so you can see it on our live feed right now if you go there, or you can go to my account, x.com/Jeff Hunt. And Tina emerges out with her hand grabbing the initial assaulter's right hand, and then her left hand, or her right hand around the throat, pushes her away. Obviously, there's enough of a scuffle to get other people's attention because they all show up. And one of my favorite comments on the video was the lady at the end that shows up in the bathrobe.
Oh, yeah. Just
Did you see that?
Yeah. You're like, what?
Well, it's 9 o'clock, Tim.
Yeah.
Department of Corrections. It's bedtime. She's in her bathrobe.
Yeah. Like, she just never got out of it. Yeah.
People going, yes, we should absolutely have T-shirts that say Tina runs the yard.
That's funny.
Marvin the meat handler, don't kick cops, Tina.
Yeah, the thing for me that I think is an unintended consequence of this video is Tina, because as you were saying, she runs the yard. Where's the sick, frail woman that can't handle prison? The woman that is in such health state that she needs to be removed out of the prison because she's fragile and she could go at any time. It's kind of the idea that we've been sold by the camp that she's just too ill and it's not nice to have a 70-year-old woman in prison but now on this video, as you said, Jeff, Tina runs the yard. In this video, she didn't have any problems reasonably fending off an attack from a woman that looks to be younger. We don't know how much younger, but Tina has a full shock of gray hair and this woman does not. So there is at least a bit of an age gap in there somewhere. But Tina did just fine. This woman didn't throw her to the ground. This woman wasn't even able to overpower Tina. The frail grandmother that's stuck in prison that we are told needs to be released because this is so bad on her. She seemed to be able to defend herself. I think that's going to be an unintended consequence of this video, that she's not going to appear as sick and frail as she has been claiming.
Jason in Denver texting in, bring in Lieutenant Daniel Caffey to see if the warden ordered a code red.
Yeah. And again, if this is a code red, you're bad at it. That's why I look at this institutionally. If this is the institutional way to get back at her, they're not very good at it. I would not be afraid of a code red ordered by the institution if this is the attack. Would not be afraid of it. That's the idea, is if this is it, really?
All right. Well, join the conversation. Would love to hear from you. 303-696-1971 is the phone line. If you'd like to text in, do so at 720-819-5115. Also, give us your nickname, because this is kind of fun. We have Marvin the meat handler, Bean Checkered,
Four Corners
Joan
Steve
from Lakewood, Brad from Parker, Terry in Texas, Joe in Golden, Suzanne. They're all there. So, it's a ton of fun.
That's your name. So, give us your nickname.
All right, we'll continue. We got, speaking of antics coming up, we got Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. All your text messages on the Tina Peters prison battle. It's making me laugh this morning.
There's some really great ones.
Mountain Peak Air is a Pueblonian. They're bad at it, Billy, because it's Pueblo.
And I love that because I lived in Pueblo for a while, so I get that on a level that I can share that giggle, my friend. I can share that giggle, Mountain Peak Air. That's fantastic.
Breadman, Tina the shot caller. All right.
Yeah, that was great. That was good.
All right, guys.
You guys are wonderful.
Let's continue the laughs with a little Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News.
Yes, it's that time of the morning where we get to play everybody's favorite fake radio news game show. It's You Choose the News. You know how this works. I browse the interwebs for stories, really, really dumb ones about us humans, and then give them fake headlines so that we can play this fake radio news game show with you. Why? Because those in charge do not arise until 7 o'clock. When Jeff and I found out that we were going to be left unsupervised at this early in the morning, oh, you better believe we're going to take advantage. Yes, but of course, you understand the principle of limited liability. Yes, you always need to have a fall guy, partner in crime, and that is Blake Olson's role. He joins us from the news department. Jeff, of course, is in the studio. Well, not today. He's actually down Durango, but that's okay. We'll check in with him. And here, gentlemen, are your potential stories today. Choose wisely. Headline number 1, sweeping discovery. Headline number 2, questionable prayers. Headline number 3, are you smarter than a teenager? And headline number 4, lighten your load. Mr. Hunt, your choice.
My house is full of them. Let's see if you're smarter than a teenager.
Yes. Are you smarter than a teenager? I hope that our friend Jacqueline is listening this morning because this story comes to us from Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, under a 2019 state law, Nebraska teens must clear a civics requirement in order to graduate high school. Immigrants must pass a test on civics and U.S. history in order to gain their U.S. citizenship. But what about those people you elect to the legislature? Well, one Nebraska state senator says he has a solution. He wants to write a new law that any new members of the legislature take a 20-question civics test and publicly post the scores.
Yes.
Now, a passing grade would not be required to continue to do their job, but the raw scores would be listed publicly and also on the legislator's official website. So it'd be part of your public biography, what you scored on the test, which I think is genius.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Now, the cool thing is that it would be, you basically they're trying to construct what the questions would be, how they would implement it, but it is the brainchild of State Senator John Frederickson of Omaha. He said he was inspired by conservative and progressive constituents who have questioned the level of understanding and appreciation that lawmakers and voters have of U.S. government's responsibility and how to be a good steward to protect our institutions. Okay, now we got a minute or two here. Here are some of the potential questions they are bantering around. Okay, Jeff, Blake, question number 1. What does the U.S. Constitution do?
Well, sets up our government structure.
Yep, defines system of government. Ding, ding, ding. Nicely done. Who can name the economic system here in the United States? Economic system.
Well, free market capitalism.
Yes, exactly. Capitalism. Nicely done. Yes, exactly. All right. Ooh, this is a fun one. To whom does the Constitution grant the power to declare war? Funny you slipped that one in there.
Ooh, I'll let you answer that one, Blake.
Congress.
Yes, it is Congress. Nicely done. Now,
ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Here's the thing. What did Susan B. Anthony do? What is she famous for?
Oh, man.
Well, Susan B. Anthony was the one that... No, was she the one that was women's suffrage, right?
Yeah, women's rights. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Good
now,
job.
Okay.
I was going to say, didn't she make the flag? But that's Susan B. Ross.
Yeah, Betsy Ross. Yep.
Betsy
Yep,
Ross. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, here's a tough one. Who was president during World War I? That was a tough one.
Was that Wilson?
Yes, it is, sir. Yes, and we elect a U.S. senator for how many years?
Blake?
6.
Yeah, 6. That's it. Those are just a sample of some of the questions they are talking about. You guys pass. Nicely done.
The Jeff and Bill show better than most elected officials.
I know. Look at
Pretty
that.
intimidating.
I know. But I love the fact that the answers, now again, not individual answers, but the total score would be posted publicly, and it would have to be kept on the legislator's bio. Yeah. I love that idea. Yeah, every time you go to his page, it's like, I got a D-. You're like, all right, that's great.
That is great.
Okay, Blake, your choice, sir. Sweeping discovery, questionable prayers, or lighten your load?
Questionable prayers.
Yeah, questionable prayers. We've got some questions about prayers that were being offered up in Sweden because during a new investigation, nuns from 20 churches in the country linked to the St. Elizabeth Monastery worked for Russian intelligence and were raising funds for the Russian invasion forces in Ukraine. Now, the St. Elizabeth Monastery is, the other branch of Catholicism. They're and the Sisters of St. Elizabeth use their income to support Russian nationalism and Russian aggression. They've got close ties to the GRU. They were selling souvenirs from the front line in the churches, and they were used to finance Russian military units. The nuns also made trips out to the front line to boost the morale of the Russian forces. Yes. An investigation found that the nuns openly supported the war against Ukraine. They raised funds for special military operations, including the purchase of strike drones, Starlink equipment, military gear, and visited temporarily occupied territories and cooperated with Russian invasion units on both propaganda but also fundraising and tactical information.
I want to see the movie on those nuns.
I know. Exactly. All right.
That's
okay.
crazy.
Final choice this morning, Mr. Hunt. Sweeping Discovery or lighten your load?
Sweeping Discovery, please.
Sweeping Discovery. Here we find ourselves in the beautiful pastures of the mountains of Austria. It is wonderful as we crest over the hill and we come upon Veronica, maybe the most clever cow on the planet. She is a pet Swiss brown cow that has learned how to use tools. She is using a broom, and she's using it to scratch her back. Now, she's been doing this for over a decade, and recently the science hippies went in and studied it and thought it was fantastic because they gave her a broom brush, and they thought that she'd only use the bristle end. Instead, she would adjust it based on what and where she needed scratching. If it was under her belly, she would use the harder end. If it was on her back, she would use the bristle end. This is one of the only well-documented cases of something of multiple-use tools. Normally, we only see this in chimpanzees. Seeing it in a cow is freaking crazy. Those cows must be much smarter than we think they are. But that's it. All right, back to you, Jeff.
All right, we'll continue. We're going to be talking in the next hour with Darren Weekly, Sheriff of Douglas County. Don't miss it. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is News Talk 710